Well guys, 2021 is at an end, and here is my top 10 best movies of 2021. For disclosure, I will say that I have not seen every movie of 2021, such as The Last Duel, I never got around to seeing. Pig, also, there's a few more, like The Green Knight, I just never got around to seeing, so I don't know if I really like them or not, and it would be a crime if I put them on the list when I never even seen them. But let's get into the top 10 best movies. Now, these first three are kind of nitpicks, not really like my favorite movies of all time at all, but I'd say they go in the best category because I really enjoyed them more than mediocre films. Kicking it off with Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, you guys know my review of the film on my channel. I said it was mediocre. The story was horrible, but the fight sequences, the action, the fight between Godzilla and Kong was really enjoyable. So I really liked that. The score was good, and like I said, the action was pretty top-notch, but overall it was a dumb story. But I had fun with it on HBO Max, and yeah, I had fun with it. It was kind of a quicker movie too, so I respected that too as well. But the fight scene, the big Godzilla vs. Kong match was incredible, to say the least, in my opinion. Coming in at number 9 is Free Guy. Now, the reason why I like Free Guy is, of course, Ryan Reynolds, but it is a fun comedy action type film. I like the idea of being implemented in this game world style, and Ryan Reynolds' character, Free Guy, has to try to escape and realize he knows he's not a real person, he's more AI. And I thought it was cool. Just Ryan Reynolds is a likable dude in general, so I really enjoyed his performance in the film, and it really elevated the film up for me. I think if someone else was casted in this film, I don't think I would have liked it as much, but Ryan Reynolds definitely elevates this film for me a lot. Coming in at number 8 is Halloween Kills. Now, you guys know I was actually a really big fan of Halloween Kills. The reason why is I was not a fan of Halloween 2018 at all, so I was just hoping this one would be better, and what we got was really enjoyable. Yes, it's still kind of a dumb story, but I really liked the idea of the mob getting together to go after Michael Myers, and the killings in this and the brutality is really good, very bloody, and the score too, of course, and there are some cool kind of visuals in this film that I was surprised about, but I really enjoyed it, and that's why it's on my top 10 list. Coming in at number 7 is Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now, you guys also know I really enjoyed this film a lot. I believe that this is a perfect Ghostbusters film to honor the legacy from the other two that I love so much, and it really honors it, does its own thing, and I found that really unique. Now, I always said that the first act kind of was really slow and it didn't really get going until the second act, but phenomenal. I really like the visuals. All the kid actors in this film are incredible. The cameos by the original Ghostbusters, awesome. They were in it at the right time. I just really had a lot of fun with this movie. Paul Rudd's in the movie as well. Paul Rudd's likable, but I really enjoyed it, and I like this film a lot, and that is why it's number 7. Coming in at number 6 is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I love Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I love Simu Liu playing Shang-Chi, but also it's another one of those fun action adventure movie, Marvel movie. It's fun, it's comedy, it's lighthearted, it's also emotional at times too, and I really respected that. We're getting into a different world now with Kung Fu and stuff like that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think Shang-Chi really handled this world and story really well. I like the idea of his father being the Mandarin. I love all the 10 rings. The CGI was pretty good in this film as well. Awkwafina was annoying at times, but I like Ben Kingsley in that film, and I like Little Morris, but I really enjoyed Shang-Chi. I had a really fun time in the theater watching it, and I own it back there as well, so yeah, it's number 6. Coming in at number 5 is, you guessed it, no you probably didn't, The Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn. I love this movie. Rated R, brutality, bloody, dark humor, funny humor, John Cena, Idris Elba. James Gunn did an incredible job making these characters likable more this time around instead of David Ayer's cut, which I want to see David Ayer's cut and see what his story was. I always want to see that, but overall in this film, felt really cohesive. It didn't bore me at times except for the Harley romance that felt really forced. You guys know what part I'm talking about. But I loved all the characters. They were relatable. They were charismatic. You cared about these characters. You had fun with these characters. It was a ballsy type film. People died, and Rated R really elevated this film for me. And I actually cannot wait to watch the Peacemaker series with John Cena. Coming in at number 4 is No Time to Die. I watched this film actually a couple days ago for seeing if it's going to be on my worst or best. I really love this film. The way it's a perfect send-off to James Bond, or Daniel Craig's James Bond, but the action, the practical effects, the score, the visual, the scene, the fight sequences, the story, it was perfect. It's everything I wanted it to be. Could the runtime be shortened a little bit more? Yeah, it could have been maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes. It was a 2 hour and 35 minute runtime, but I loved all the characters in this film. Daniel Craig, I think, handled really well. Some people will argue that they didn't really like how they treated James Bond's character, or Daniel Craig's James Bond in this film, killing him off at the end. I liked it. It had a lot of emotion to this film, and I really liked the story that they made in this film, and I really, really enjoy it. That's why it's number 4. And at number 3 is, you guessed it, Dune. Denis Villeneuve's Dune. This is a spectacle of, it's got some cool action, fight sequences, world building aspects, an incredible score with a brilliant cast, and I can't say much more about the visuals. They're so fucking beautiful, and I cannot wait for Dune Part 2. Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, who's in it not that much, Jason Momoa, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, this all-star talent cast. I loved it, and it was Rebecca Ferguson as well. I love this film, and that's why it's number 3. Alright guys, these last two were really interchangeable for me. It was so hard to pick. I don't know if you guys are gonna guess it, what's my number 1 or 2, but let's get into number 2, Spider-Man No Way Home. There's not much more. I talked about this film so much on my channel. I love this film to death. There's everything from my childhood of caring about Spider-Man came in this film. Oh my god, the score, seeing Toby and Andrew, spoilers, everything I wanted, the action, the amount of emotion packed in this film, it was perfect. Everything, that's why I always get, this is a masterpiece film. I told you that. Gave it a 10 out of 10, and the number 1 film is also a 10 out of 10. But I really love this film. Tom Holland really showed he can be Spider-Man in this film and not Iron Man Jr. But I'm telling you the truth, I love this film, and it could have been my top 1 if it wasn't for this last film. Coming in at number 1 is, you guessed it, Zack Snyder's Justice League. This film for me, even though it didn't have a theatrical run, it was on HBO Max, is something I never thought was possible. Yeah, you can say I didn't think a lot of things in No Way Home were possible either, which I didn't, but who would have thought that we could actually get a whole 4-hour epic movie get made by the studio over a hashtag release the Snyder Cut, and now hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Everybody in this movie really shines. Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller, Ray Fisher, Gal Gadot. I actually like Steppenwolf this time around. Darkseid's getting cool and set up. Hopefully we see something pan out in the Snyderverse. Zack Snyder really handled this film well with an incredible score, awesome visuals, a big 4-hour epic, and I have to say, this is my number 1 movie of 2021. I loved it to death. I bought it fucking 3 times back there. I bought a batsuit because of it. I love this film, and I really want them to restore the Snyderverse. I'm still at the core. My 2 favorite superheroes are Batman and Spider-Man, right? But at the core, I'm still a DC fan. I love Marvel. I'm still a fan of Marvel, but at the core, I was so happy about how they treated this film and made it with the 4:3 aspect ratio look beautiful as well. But guys, that's it. That is my top 10 best movies of 2021. Do you guys agree with my list, or you guys let me know some of your top 10 or your favorite movies of 2021? Stay tuned for my top 10 worst movies of 2021 coming real soon, right before the end of the beginning of the new year, and I will see you guys real soon, and I'll see you guys soon.